What up? How's it going, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to FSP episode number. What are we on now, guys? What does it
47
say?
says in the title.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's right, though.
I had to. I think it is. I had to drag my screen over a little bit so I could see the number. I hope everyone's doing all right tonight. I had a rough day today because last night was a rough night. Gotta say, Cowboys let me down. Dak, why you do this to me, Dak? Dak. Oh man.
Well, are you not surprised they made it this far this year? Like,
no, they were good. The defense is amazing, and we played Super Bowl caliber defense in this game. And all the quarterback had to do was make sure he doesn't fuck it up for everybody. But Dak Scott came out in full force, and he threw 2 early interceptions. Took points off our board, put them on 49ers. But you know what? We'll see what happens next year. That's the life of a Cowboys fan.
Get Garoppolo to be a free agent.
Garoppolo? Yeah, that's going to be an improvement. Okay.
I heard Dak threw his helmet at the end of the game. And, he was kind of pissed off, so he threw his helmet, and somebody intercepted that, too.
Oh, probably so. I was wondering if he actually hit the target on that, on the helmet toss.
He aimed for the ground, hit the sky.
Yeah. But thanks for everybody for tuning in to this to FSP. We're going to have fun tonight. We got lots to talk about. We'll talk about Forspoken. We'll talk about the Developer Direct coming up. We'll talk about some stuff going on with the I guess Sony's getting subpoenaed for some information, and I don't know what's all going on with that right now. But Forza Motorsport news as well. We got there's going to be another show monthly for Forza, which is going to be pretty awesome. So we'll talk about all that. I want to say hello to everybody in the chat. Thanks for being here nice and early for the show. It's up to 3-Bit who can't be here under contractual obligations. So up to Talos Re, BigMADMoe, Andrew Cullinane, Poison Maniac, Harry Ballsack. What's up to you? Sully, how's it going? NOLAORIGINS, Mike Latoris, making sure I say that's nice and spaced out there. What's up, Alvin? How's it going with you, dude? Tony Grasso is here hanging out as well. Oh man, lots of awesome people here. Charlie Hustle here. Nikita Percy, what's up? Nikita, how's it going? Yeah, so let's go ahead and say hello to this panel. Psycho has returned from outer space. He has put away his astronaut helmet and outfit, and he is now ready to talk like a regular podcaster again. What's up, Psycho? How you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. As you guys can hear, I'm back to my old self, my beautiful, sultry voice that comes through the airwaves. But yeah, it's been an interesting week so far. We got some news with, as you said, with the Forza Motorsport deep dive Thursday, and the debacle that has been going on with Forspoken. Holy crap. Has that been a shit show on fucking Twitter? It's
people said it was going to be yesterday. I found that interesting. People that had reviewed it or that had seen or talked to people that they knew that were reviewing it would be like, hey, get ready because Twitter's going to be a different place tomorrow. It's going to be pretty interesting. There's a lot of talk about that all day today, but you know,
I can't wait to get into that. There's a lot.
Yeah, we'll talk about Forspoken for sure. Fuzz, how are you doing, bro?
Doing pretty good, and like Psychonauts was saying, just watching Twitter with the the whole stuff with Forspoken right now, and the news we're getting more details in the Forza Monthly right after, or the following day after the showcase on Wednesday, and just a lot of little games coming out and whatnot. But yeah, Dead Space right around the corner, and yeah, just can't wait to get into these topics. So let's do this.
Yeah, for sure, man. Jasper, how you doing, bro?
Doing all right. Played a little bit of Steam World Build is what they called it. They announced they're making like a city builder in the Steam World universe, and they put a demo on Steam. So I checked that out today for a couple hours. That's what I've been up to. Trying to avoid all the Twitter news because the days like this, just I don't want to be on Twitter. It's just annoying.
No, it's so much fun.
Yeah, you're kind of looking forward to Forspoken. You're gonna play it tonight, right?
Yep.
Have you already pre-ordered it, or are you just gonna?
Yeah, I bought it on the Xbox store, so I get achievements for it.
Oh, okay. So you're playing it on the Xbox Store on PC. So,
Yep.
Is there any difference between that version and the Steam version? Sometimes people
Just
say that there is,
PC
or whatever.
version. It's just hard to edit files on the Windows Store versions, but
Right. Cool. Well, I guess we can go ahead because you're gonna play it tonight. I'm curious what you're gonna think of it. I know that Steele said he's probably gonna play it as well, but he's trying to pull himself away from Monster Hunter Rise right now as well, which I tried the other day on stream. I like it okay. I mean, it's more Monster Hunter. I still think like I'm thinking back to when I played World quite a bit, and I didn't have friends that played World at the time, like online. I just all my friends played Madden or Call of Duty and stuff like that. So I played World a lot solo, but I felt like for me, like it felt like the better game out of the two, which doesn't necessarily surprise me because this was a Switch port. Now I will say graphically that it did impress me more than I thought I was going to. But gameplay wise, I just felt like at the time that World may be better than Rise. But you know what? I think Rise has so much content now and stuff like that. That's really probably the appeal for most people. And I'm gonna give it more of a go, but it's probably more of like just something to just dabble in here and there for a while.
yeah, I
I'm
like the
not
art style of World better. It's more realistic. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I do too. I'm not gonna get sucked into this game like I thought it was a potential there, but I don't know. Control wise, the lock-on system for the monsters just ain't working right for me, bro. Like, I don't know if that's any different than World. For some reason, I felt like I had an easier time in World with that. But anyway, let's get into Forspoken. Yeah, so reviews hit today for Forspoken, and it is very varied for sure. It's sitting at a meta of 68. We have what was it? Gamer Nexus or Gaming Nexus. Gaming Nexus said 9.5. Said that it was like one of the greatest games of all time. But then you also have GameSpot giving it a 50. You have lots
IGN
of
gave it a 6.
sixes, lots of sixes, lots of sevens. I think Game Informer gave it a 7.5. Easy Allies and some people gave it like an 8. Like it's just reviews are kind of all over the place with this game. But regardless of that, some people liked it, some people didn't. Sitting, at that rating right there, I have to say I have to give myself props. I think I was pretty close on my prediction on the meta for this game. I don't remember if it was FSP that we talked about this or if it was Xbox Ultimate, but we had given some predictions for the Forspoken review score, and I was in the 60s. Everybody else is 70s or above, and people thought I was crazy. But yeah, 60s on this game seemed about where I thought I was going to land based on the demo talk. After that had come out, and it seems like another regardless miss for Square Enix, right? I remember that this was when this was the PlayStation show when they revealed the PlayStation 5 and all these different things they had at the time. There was this Square Enix game that showed up and it was exclusive to PlayStation, and they had this like really cool trailer of like this running around these mountaintops and stuff, and it was like gorgeous eye candy. It's like, holy shit, what is this? This is next gen gaming, right? And oh my god, and how far the mighty have fallen from that moment until today, when another Square Enix PlayStation exclusive has failed to hit the mark, at least with critics so far. We'll see what the user scores and what people actually think that are playing it. I don't anticipate much difference there, but yeah, it's quite a big difference from what a lot of people were anticipating, I believe, at the time. I think that had mentioned even in the past as only possible to make this game on PlayStation, stuff like that. Which
only possible on PS5 because of the haptic controller.
Was it that? I thought it was because of the SSD, because of like the fast movement or whatever.
It's the SSD because this is the first game on PC to actually use direct storage on PC.
Right.
They also said the haptic controller because of the light on the DualSense controller illuminates to what spell. So if you're doing arcane or if you're doing like water, whatever the certain element that you're using, color changes to that, and they can't do that with the DualShock 4 control. That's why it's not on the DualShock 4. That's at least that's the article that was reporting on
that seems like a bunch of
from
baloney to me, because there's so many games that came out
Yeah, they
last.
didn't even have that in the demo.
There were so many games that came out last gen that took advantage of some of the extra features on some controllers that other controllers didn't. Like, it just,
I mean, my keyboard and mouse can do that when I play games on PC. They can, if like I reload, it
Yeah.
changes to red, or like in Halo, my shields drop, my keyboard and shit goes red. So like,
and this is
not-
a timed exclusive, also, I believe, right? It's not like
2 years.
Yeah, it's not like some of the others. We'll see if it actually ever makes its way to Xbox. And I don't know if people really care. Ultimately, at this point, but I will say that, you know, Square's exclusive game deals that they keep making aren't really doing it any favors, because where this one may fail to hit sales expectations again for Square Enix, I'm not guaranteeing that. I'm just saying it's a possibility based on what we're seeing right now. It seems that, you know, another platform would have helped them in that regard quite a bit. And Series X would have definitely been able to play this game. And don't know why they
2
keep,
years.
Yeah, I will in 2 years. I don't know why they keep shooting themselves in the foot with these things. Not to say that a game would have been any better for it. It's not like they've been on the money with their games lately. I would say that their MO right now, these exclusive games, if Square Enix has an exclusive on a platform, I'm being very wary of that game right now, especially if it's a new IP. If Babylon's Fall with Platinum Games, you can't even play it anymore. Like, it's a coaster if you bought it even in a physical version. They killed the game. Like, they absolutely killed it. Avengers Now, which they had launched last generation.
That wasn't exclusive though.
That wasn't exclusive, no. But that was another new IP. Avengers is a new IP, but you know what I mean, in the gaming space, that was a big deal. They failed to hit the mark on that. Crystal Dynamics is ending support on it now. That was published by Square originally, and now this game as well. So Square's on a little bit of a low. They're batting low average right now. We'll see. I think they have a chance to redeem themselves later this year with Final Fantasy 16, which looks absolutely amazing. But regardless, you're still excited for this, right, Jasper?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't going in expecting a 10 to begin with, so like my expectations were already kind of like, it looks cool.
Yeah.
Like I just did it because I think the premise is kind of cool. Like someone from our time is transported like into a fantasy world with magic powers. I don't know, that just seems kind of cool, so that's why I'm into it.
Yeah, right on, bro. Did you ever have plans to playing this, Psycho?
Well, I'm in before, yes, and then the demo came out, and I played it on the PS5, and I did not like it. It was just like, it was very empty. There was enemies were few and far between. It wasn't. I mean, it really wasn't that graphically a showpiece as it was shown on the video. It's kind of like one of those Division 2 and you know, those other like misleading kind of trailers that they have. But
Forspoken's had a lot of those trailers.
And then now seeing that there's, you know, like Digital Foundry came out, and they were you know, with a performance mode, it's hitting almost 1440p, I believe, and or is it 4K, but it dropped all the way down to,
I think it's 4K, but it drops all the way down to 720p,
like, but at 44 hertz
from 4K to
FPS.
720. That much of a range?
Yeah, like it's like he's like, and then like when you go into like the city
again, but I don't know how much of that is like, it happens for like 3 seconds and then it goes back up to 4K. It's one of those things where like everyone bitches over like, this game is running at 28 frames a second or whatever. It's like, yeah, it's for half a second.
Well,
like,
yeah, but it depends on what you're doing. If you're fighting monsters, and this is when it's happening, then that's more of an occurrence than it wouldn't be. So he was stating like the global illumination, like the lighting is horrible. versus like even Final Fantasy 15. Even the city that you go into is very, very bland. Like there's like nothing really on the walls. So it's literally just wall, maybe a little bit of texture, and that's about it. But if you go back to if you're looking at like Final Fantasy 15, and you'll see walking around in the city, you see like gutters, and you see like pieces of the walls cracked off, broken off, and things like that. There's a lot of attention to detail within the city, and this just looks flat. He's like, it looks like a 360 PS3 game, and usually John Linnerman is very pro PlayStation when it comes to a lot of the game. When he talks about it, he was not holding back with this game at all. It was very interesting to see his takes taught when he's talking about this, and so it's funny to see how it was going to be showcased as like this really spectacular looking game, and then it's like, what is this? I'm like, did you guys just hyped it up so people buy it and then be like, oh, there you have it? I'm like, some certain areas that look really good, but then there's like, it's like other areas they were rushed to finish to get the game out. So that's what it kind of feels like. So
well, I wonder,
you definitely will find out, Jasper, tonight.
I wonder if this will take away them from actually starting to criticize the Western teams that they let go of, right? Because this is
all them.
This is Luminous Productions, which is formerly. I'm looking at the Wikipedia just to make sure I got everything correct. Which is
the last game was Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah, Final Fantasy 15, right? Because they were formerly Business Division 2 or whatever, and they like split off during the development of Final Fantasy 15, and pretty much had started another internal studio, but they took all the developers from Business Development Division 2, so they ended up transitioning Business Division 2 into Luminous. So it's the same team that made Final Fantasy 15 that is that's making this game, and that's quite a big fall off. Now, I wasn't a big fan of 15. It's my least favorite Final Fantasy, point blank.
Me too.
Period. Right.
Wasn't good.
But this was one that seemed like it'd been in development for a while, and this was their first new IP big game from an internal studio in a while too. So, they still have some of these other JRPGs and stuff like Bravely Default and Octopath Traveler and things like that. Diofield Chronicle as well, but this is one that they had really, really put a lot of marketing behind. Right, made the deal with Sony as well. So I think this is a big miss for Square as far as public perception is right now goes. We'll see if it comes back. Maybe it'll be a cult classic type game. But where do you sit on Forspoken, Fuzzy? Is this something that because there were some positive reviews as well, is it still maybe going to be on your radar? It's not like this is like getting reviews like it's one of the worst games ever, right? I mean, there's a lot of positive about this game as well.
This is kind of the opposite of Guardians for them, though. Like, they put out Guardians and everyone was shitting on it before it came out. And then when it came out, everyone was like, this is the best fucking game of the year. So
I got a Guardians of the Galaxy poster right there. You guys can't see it, but the fucking game's amazing, right? Eidos Montreal, they let them go.
Yeah.
They let them go. Scored way higher than Forspoken.
Yeah, but for me, I was kind of on the fence with this game from beginning. Then the demo came out, and I think the only thing it really did was solidify that I'm going to get the game, but I'm not doing it day one. I'm not paying $70 for it.
Yeah.
There were some good things that the demo brought out as far as like the whole thing with you get certain magic buffs and debuffs based on her nail polish and the necklace she's wearing, or the cape or whatever you want to call that robe and stuff. Some of the combat was pretty cool and stuff, but I guess you start off with the crappy rock throwing stuff in the beginning. But other than that, a lot of that stuff seemed pretty decent. In the demo, it was a little bit deader than I was hoping for. Like I was not expecting like hundreds of enemies everywhere you go kind of thing, but a little bit more filled out or a little more lively overall. But I think the biggest thing is from the like kind of like what Psychonauts was saying before. The videos that we saw early on were much more graphically detailed, and come to find out, I guess they didn't let anybody that did the early playtest do their recordings, and they just gave them like 7 minutes of the 4K quality on like a PC to use for like B-roll and stuff. So it a little disappointing, although it still looks decent in some cases, but the lighting on some things, it made the world look flatter than I guess it probably should. But I think I'm still going to have fun with this game. It's just that I'm going to wait until it's, $30 or less kind of thing. If it becomes $30 or less on digital for PS5, I'll pick it up that way. If it winds up being either Steam or on Xbox's store for PC for $30 or less for digital, then I'll go that route. But for right now, it's wait for a sale for me. But it's a shame it gets that lower of a score, but low scores haven't stopped me from enjoying games in the past. So
there's been some great games that I've really loved that have lower scores, right? So I'll say this: if this has been like everything you've seen, all the gameplay you've watched, all the videos of the dev streams, if you love the demo and all that kind of stuff, I would say that's probably not gonna. This game's probably gonna be what you're expecting. I would assume. You know what I mean? So, just because a lot of people don't like it doesn't mean that you won't. And there's also like I said, there's a lot of positives out there about it too. Big miss though for what Square was hoping for. I would imagine with this. It's not a good look for them as much marketing as they put behind something and selling it as this big next thing and all this stuff for it to hit like it had, So that's the main reason for discussing it like this,
Well, let's see if they come forward later on and say if it met expectations or it underperformed.
Well, nothing ever meets their expectations.
So that's bound to happen, but they can't blame it on the Western developers anymore. Right?
This is all
they can still
on
blame
them.
it on them. It's just everybody would look at them sideways.
I mean, this got the marketing of one of those games. It's got the marketing of like an Avengers, of like a Final Fantasy, of like a Guardians of the Galaxy. They hardly didn't market at all. Actually, take that back. But this got a lot of marketing push behind it. I mean, it's got a lot of PlayStation shows.
That may be a problem with Square. Is like maybe they need to stop marketing their games as much because it seems like the ones they don't market are actually really good.
Those are the good ones, people. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one gets that like in their head that this game's ass. So it's like, I don't know.
I wonder if they'll get on track with Final Fantasy 16. I mean, they can't let that flop. If a Final Fantasy mainline game comes out and it's bad and like does like this, that's really bad for Square. Right. So I would imagine that's going to do better.
Yeah, I sent some just why the Forspoken had to be on PS5 and not PS4, pretty much stating that's the controller and the world, but still it's like I don't know. I mean, they could have more likely they could have got it working on the PS4. There's just been longer load times.
Look at Sucker Punch with Ghost of Tsushima. That ran on PS4 with a conventional hard drive, and it loaded in seconds. Why can't anybody else do it?
Is this something with the speed of the traversal in this game and how fast it has to load up the world, probably? And why you would need an SSD? Like, I feel like that's probably part of it and why they kind of push the SSD thing. I'm not saying, but like, mandatory SSD is not mean it can only be played on a PS5. That means that you just have to have an SSD, right? So I would understand maybe moving past last gen consoles, right? And we know this can run on a Series X, so it's not because of the speed of the PS5 SSD, because they could potentially come out here on Xbox later. It can run on, I'm sure, PC SSDs that are way lower requirements than a PS5 as well. But you're saying it does require a SSD on PC, Jasper?
Well, you can still play with HDD. It's just you're going to have like scenes where it just freezes up for a minute and then everything loads in. So like, you can still play it. It's just not going to be an enjoyable experience.
Right. Okay. Makes sense. Is it recommended SSD?
Yeah, it's recommended. I mean, every game is now.
Yeah, it should be. If this piece of shit right next to me is looking I hate this PC. So stuff loads when I try to load up games. Like I remember playing Age of Empires 4, and like just sitting there trying to get into a game, and everybody's like waiting for me to load up, and I'm just like, okay, we'll get there eventually, guys. Sorry about this.
Do you have? Is it SATA SSD on that, or is it
I don't
just
know. It's one of those
HDD?
like hybrid things where it's like it's got a SSD and it's got a HDD, but it like shows up as one drive in the
Oh,
computer and the PC.
Yeah, it has
Oh, it's like a memory
hybrid.
chip thing.
it has a 3D cache or whatever in the
I don't.
HDD.
I'm not a
Yeah.
tech guy. I don't understand. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It just said when I looked at it, oh, it said it had an SSD, and I was like, cool, yeah. But then I was like, wait, how does this work?
If
There's
it-
only one drive here. And I called them and they explained it to me, but I don't know. I don't understand that.
If
shit.
it has an empty SATA port, you can just buy a SATA drive, and I think most of them come with cables. But if not,
Can you tell me what a SATA is?
It's a cable.
Okay.
So the SATA
Port,
as
yeah.
the SSDs are 2.5 inch, kind of like laptop hard drives, size wise. So they're like really small. They're 2.5 inches,
Right.
and so there's a port that's on the motherboard that is a SATA. It's not like a
Well, I'm
so
sure his hard drive's SATA too. Like hard drives since fucking like year 2000 have been SATA.
Yeah. This is only a
Well,
few years
no, I'm just
old,
saying. So there might be an extra port that you can actually put, hook up an SSD. They're not as fast as M.2s, but they're a lot faster. That's how I had when I built my PC. I did a hybrid. I did a SATA for operational system, and then a mechanical for games and information, pictures, and all that kind of bullshit. Because it's fast when it's just reading information, but it's mechanical drives suck when it comes to being your operational, where it's getting the for your OS and trying to read your games and things like that. That's where the bog is. So usually when you get when you separate with the SATA with HHD, and you'll see a huge difference. It was like night and day when I built my PC for load times. I was like, holy fuck, this thing loaded up in seconds. So
yeah. I'm trying to see if I can tell. Like if I hit
Yeah,
properties on
it's
my drive, it'll tell.
It's a HDD with a cache. That's what you have. Like,
okay.
yeah, so it's not the same, but
it's not just a pure HDD. It has there's a chip in there that can store information, so some stuff can load a little faster.
Right. So I have ST. Oh, I almost said STD. ST2. ST. I don't know.
He got the clap.
I don't know. I don't even know what these mean.
Should have looked at it when I was there.
Yeah, you should have. Damn it. We should have built a PC when you were here. That'd have
Right.
been fun.
I think we were all like, had 3-bit being there, and it was just like, it was all crazy.
We saw a couple movies. That was cool.
Yeah. I still like those goddamn epic nachos though.
Yeah. Well, when next time you come down, we'll go get you some more nachos. Or there were fries.
No, fries. Yeah, epic fries.
You got fries.
Fuck yeah.
They're so good. I don't even remember what I had.
Well, they were like, they were loaded, so they had like tons of cheese, and they had like
I got brisket.
Yeah, they were loaded with brisket on it and all this cheese, and they had what was it, sweet potato fries and regular fries and waffle fries, all like loaded with cheese and all these toppings,
bacon,
and brisket and bacon. It was fucking
Holy
crazy.
Fuck.
I was eating my like tacos next to him. I got like fucking some kind of tacos or some shit, and I was looking at those fucking fries he had. It like, what the fuck? I should have ordered those. That was crazy. 3-bit says my movie room is sick. Thanks, bro. Yeah. 3-bit was hanging out.
Master Chief was literally 10 feet tall.
I'm gonna have to get a new lamp for my projector soon. The one bright scenes is starting to flicker a little bit. Not fun. Anyway, moving on from Forspoken. I think we've all forspoke enough about that game.
Yeah, it could be very well, and we'll see. Tomorrow's releases, so Twitter will be
hour and a half.
filled with freaking screenshots and trailer. People gameplay little trailers going on how amazing this game is, because we see a lot of Sony guys, like they can't wait to play it, and so we'll see. Hopefully, it'll just be flooded and and prove people wrong, and so they can buy it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we got some other cool news today. If you're a racing game fan, Fuzzy is probably excited about this news. The day after the developer direct, they announced there's going to be these, I think, like hour-long streams for Forza, and they're going to be talking even more about the game and features and all this stuff, and it's going to do it monthly. So, is that something that you're going to make sure you tune in, Fuzz, every month when they do that Forza stream?
Well, they already do the monthly. It's just this time they're going to do a lot more focus on the latest motorsport. But like most of their monthlies are either the updates for like Horizon 5, like the I guess you could say the seasonal rewards and things like that, or there'll be like the Rivals thing for like Motorsport 7. Or it'll be like the esports stuff that they do on occasion as well. But yeah, I'm definitely tuning in this Thursday to hear more about the latest motorsport, because like with the showcase on Wednesday, I'm hoping for a release date, which it's kind of been rumored that they're going to have release dates for the games shown and stuff like that. Also hoping for a car list and track list. I mean, it's not the most important thing, but I'm hoping for pretty close numbers to what Motorsport 7 had at launch. As far as I think Motorsport launched with between 600 and 660 cars. I think by the time it wrapped up, it was like at 900 cars plus, and that's one of the few games where I have all the cars. Tracks wise, I think it was 36 tracks, of which 32 of them were real tracks. The rest were fantasy tracks. But then you have like reverse rotate or reverse
Mirror
orientation, or you have like a short version of the track or full version or Grand Prix version of the track and stuff. Some of them were like the oval and road course for like Daytona. So I'm hoping they start off with a similar number of tracks and variations and stuff. But other than that, the key things I want to see, although I'm pretty sure they'll go into more detail on Thursday, would be the day-night change, which is one of the things that they had hinted to, I would say early on when they announced that there was going to be a new motorsport, and they didn't give it a number type of thing, where if you start the race, you could accelerate the time. Let's say the race starts in the afternoon, you can have it finish as a night race or something along those lines. So you can, actually simulate a Rolex 24-hour race, from your console without having to sit there for a full 24 hours and stuff. But yeah, I'm really hyped for this. And
how crazy would it be if they did the Microsoft Flight Sim route, where they give you every racetrack in the world, but they go in and like hand draw some of the major racetracks, so you could have like every single track in the world all in one game? Like, I don't know.
That would be mind blowing, above and beyond what I like. For someone that has raced at some of the local tracks in my area, like New Jersey Motorsport Park, where they have the thunder and lightning variations of the track. Just like one is geared more towards like go-karts, and the other one is for like the Continental Tire Series a few years back. That would be amazing. Or like what is it, Riverhead Raceway, where my uncle used to race against the Bodines way back in the early 80s and stuff, to do that like figure eight track that's like, it's probably only like a quarter mile, if that large of a track, just to be able to like, what, I'm gonna free roam out to New York or to Riverhead, Long Island, and race on this track, and then what, let's go up to Watkins Glen. Yeah, that would be, I'm hoping that's eventually where we get to.
Yeah, I think that's probably where we get, with eventually being able to like scan satellite data in. But like, I don't know if this game's gonna do that.
Yeah, if it was that advanced, I think
they would be talking about it.
Every sim racer's mind would be blown to the point where I think they would have to find a way, or other racing games would have to find a way to copy that technology and see if they could implement it. But that would be amazing. Future wise, hopefully that's within our lifetimes, or at least within my lifetime.
Did you see? Well, real quick, Fuzzy. Did you see the picture that they posted for that Thursday event? It's a nighttime track,
Mhm.
and the fucking people. I don't know if this is in game or this is just real an actual real life track, because those people in the background in the stands look pretty fucking crisp, and the lighting and how everything is
Do they
bouncing
though?
off of. Yeah, it looks really good. I don't
No,
know what
yeah,
you.
I saw that pic, and I would have to believe that that's probably like in game. I'm just going to take a wild stab at it because the even with GT7, they do a decent job in some track instances, not all, because some of them we've seen the lady looking like she's taking a poop in the grass kind of thing. But as far as like the grandstands and stuff like that, they're even theirs have been pretty decent, where it looks like you could see Hideo Kojima in one of the stands for one of the racetracks. But the racetracks, even for Motorsport 7, were pretty decent as far as with the fans in the stands. I mean, if you keep on looking through the stands, you can see where the people repeat, but they've gotten better, like with people in the background for like was it Horizon 5. I mean, until you go like really deep into a crowd, you don't generally see too many repeats and things.
That's in-game crowd. You can just tell by the way some of them are standing.
Yeah, so I would have to believe that's an in-game pick, but considering how full board or board they're going with this, with the ray tracing, 4K, and probably 60, if not 120 visuals. Yeah, I think that's totally possible for in-game, at least on our series consoles. If they make mention that it's on the previous gen, might have a different take.
This is definitely in game. Yeah, this is definitely in game.
That's definitely in game.
But however, I am eye candying this photo, like this in-game shot. I mean, the details on the wall, on the guard wall right there, with all these little scratches and scrapes, and the fence even looks like pretty fucking good. Like, actually is not like perfect. You know what I mean? It was like, sometimes imperfection is more realistic, right? So they have like, it kind of like looks like the light is hitting it differently, and it looks like different lengths here and there on some of the chain links, and then you can see the crowd. You get the scrapes and scratches on these cars. I'm zoomed in a lot, guys, so if the quality isn't great, it's because I'm zoomed in on the photo. But yeah, the lighting, you can see the lighting bounce off the side of this car here as well.
That's what I'm talking about.
Man, this is gonna be a fucking showcase. Epic.
Tomorrow it's gonna be fucking. Not tomorrow.
This is the turning point where a lot of people realize ray tracing is actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, if it doesn't take away from performance, like if you can hit 4K 60 or 1440 60 and have ray tracing, I'm all for it, right? But if you force Forza to run at like a 30 frames and for the sake of ray tracing, it's cool for photo mode, but that's it. You know what I mean? You don't. Nobody wants to race at 30. But I think they're going to hit 60 with ray tracing in this game, which is what you can do with track racers, right? Like, this is not an open world. Like, they're doing a smaller environment all at once. So that's the benefit of track racers. I mean, they should be the eye candy showpiece of consoles. And GT7 I feel like is a good game. The photo mode's pretty cool, but it failed to live up to that expectations. Remember, was it GT7 a cross-gen game as well?
Yeah, it's pretty much on PS4 and PS5. They can only do the ray tracing in the photo mode or
do you feel like it was held back because of that at all, Fuzz? Or do you think that it's just because it took them 25 years to make it?
From Sport. Like, it almost feels like it was a update for Sport, like almost like a PS4 to PS5 update with, obviously more tracks and more cars and stuff, but it wasn't what I was expecting, considering they hadn't done a numbered GT7 or a numbered GT in almost 10 years.
Isn't this Motorsports supposed to be a live service game?
We're speculating on that, and nobody said that, right?
Yeah, like, I was going to say, because if it is, then that could, like, we may not see another Forza for like 5 years.
Yeah, I from the get-go, when they said Forza Motorsport, Jasper, I have always assumed that what they're going to do is treat this as a service within the Xbox ecosystem. This is Forza Motorsport, It's going to carry through the generation, right? And they're going to keep updating it, right? With it over time, which is fine. You don't need to buy a Forza Motorsport 8 and 9 and 10 because it's the same game pretty much, except they add more cars and more tracks, right? So
they
if you
look
can,
better over time too.
if sometimes, yes, but they can also update the game's graphics over time too, and they have done that in the this past generation as well. So if there's like a Series Z that comes out that's capable of more, they can update it at that time for that. And a lot of times, even the older consoles benefit off of those updates somewhat, right? I feel like that's the life we're going to live with Forza Motorsport this generation, and I'm completely okay with that because if you have Game Pass, you have the game, right? Like, and it's going to keep getting better and better and better, kind of like Sea of Thieves has. What they had planned to do with Halo Infinite.
I was going to say, I just don't want this to end up being another Halo where we don't get a new car for 7 months.
I don't think they have the same like expectations for this that they did for Halo Infinite, right? So,
the way they normally add cars into the rotation, like perfect example, Motorsport 7 started with 660 cars. And within 2 years, they were up to 900 cars. With the cars, like with the car pass, I think added 40 plus cars. Plus, there were like another 60 or so that were added just specifically for that launch. And then they kept on adding cars like weekly or monthly and stuff like that throughout. So I can totally see them doing the same thing. I'm just hoping that the starting point is around where they started for Motorsport 7 as opposed to Motorsport 5, because Motorsport 5 was like a 150 to 200 start, and then I think it finished around the 220 range or so.
We'll probably find that out this
one.
week, Fuzz. And
I'm gonna guesstimate 330 at launch.
330 at launch. And you said 5 had 150, Fuzz.
5 had, it started with I think like between 120 and 150, and it finished with like 220.
Okay.
But all the other ones after that started like 400 and above. So
okay.
I'm hoping it's closer to like the 600 range at start.
I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna say 240.
That's a good number.
But the reason is like I feel like with the reboot,
done everything.
They're rebooting this, so like the cars are going to be more detailed than they've ever been before, and all this stuff. So I feel like they're before and the past Forzas, they're able to reuse all these assets and stuff, right?
Yeah,
and then add more cars on top of cars, and then kind of maybe change some of them and stuff. I feel like they probably had to do a lot more work on the cars that are going to be in this game. So they're starting from like from a more of a fresh spot, okay?
Yeah.
And putting that much work into it to catch the number of cars that you could have had with like a 7 or something, you could take another couple of years to release this game, right? So that's one of the reasons, like the benefit of that model, because if you keep giving us cars over time, you don't have to buy a new game to reach that 440 level, that 500 level. And I feel like 6-7 years from now, we're still gonna be playing Forza Motorsport, right? But who knows how many more tracks we're gonna get, how many more cars. And that's what I
wonder if they could have took some of the assets from Horizon 5. Like they already have like a lot of the car models
could have
ready.
maybe done some of those,
all the like settings and stuff with them. But
that would have helped them. How many cars are in Horizon 5?
Like fucking 800.
It's 760.
Wow.
It's like almost 770. I know. No wait. I got.
But the damage detailing and stuff they're doing in Forza Motorsport's another level. You know what I mean? Beyond that.
Yeah, so they have to change the animations for each crash, for each vehicle. So if they go into this as almost like a reboot, so they're going to probably also update the car's physical appearance with crashes, scrapes, and whatnot. So like my guess, they would probably bring it out in the 300 range, plus or minus like 50 cars. On the fact that if this is a somewhat like a live service type game, and they can, instead of having a high number right off the bat, they can give you, start off with a lower number and then slowly come in, 20 cars, 30 cars, and give you updated visuals for the cars that you've had in the past or played in the past, and then have car packs like that and give them out. So and like by the, let's say 4 years from now, you were in almost 1,000 cars, which is good for a Forza game. And I think that'll probably be really high. And then the same thing with tracks, coming with with a handful of tracks, maybe a dozen, like 8, maybe 12 to 18 tracks, and slowly adding on to that, with track packs and things like that.
Yeah, I kind of feel like there's going to be like, I can't say battle pass, but maybe like track pass or like
yeah, I mean, it's just it's one of those things, like it would be like a track like pass that comes with 5 cars, and things like that. They could just
they've done the VIP passes and stuff like that, but those like you buy at once and then they release the content over time. But like I feel like they're gonna do like more like season type stuff.
I kind of see where Fuzzy's kind of getting annoyed with the car limit and track limit, because like he's had like 300 fucking tracks and cars to choose from, and now he's gonna have like 5 tracks and 3 cars. So it's like now I gotta spend $1,000 just to get back up where I could.
No,
I feel like if they do that, they got to do free cars and free tracks. Like they can't make you just pay for everything that they're adding to the game. Like that would be ass. If that's the way they go, if they release.
Well, that's what a service game is.
No, like I know, but service games also have free content and then expanded upon content as well, right? Like the racing games always had car passes and car packs, right?
Yeah, but I'm just like trying to figure out what you would pay for.
They got.
I'm hoping the tracks are free, because that makes the most sense. The cars, some of them
free.
All right, so for example, they do Forza Edition or Forza Edition for like the motorsport series. They're like tuned cars with better grip, better handling, better aero, and stuff like that. I could see paying for those or making those part of like a pass where it's like the VIP cars where you get like let's say 8 cars that are a little bit better than the average car that. Although people will say that's pay to win, but it really isn't, in the sense of most of those cars aren't used for some of the online lobbies. Like if you're doing it for single player, I guess it's pay to win, but it's no different than some of the pre-order bonuses for other games. But when it usually comes to those rival lobbies, it's either you'll find a meta. Most of the time, use a car that everybody has access to from the base game. So
I don't think they're going to charge for, if they do charge for tracks, it would be like Forza series, like they built the track, so it's like an in-house type built. It's not like a Daytona or an
I don't think they can pay. I don't think they can charge for any tracks, because I want them to be playable in multiplayer and everybody's gonna have access to the same track, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like those tracks, except for like special tracks, they could possibly charge for those, and those necessarily won't be in the multiplayer. Like if you let's say if you didn't have a certain DLC for a game, you couldn't play that match. It wouldn't, you wouldn't be matched up with other people for that.
Yeah, but that's why
Battlefield had that problem, and Call of Duty had that problem separating.
That's
player
why
base.
all these like first person shooters went away from that. They just gave all the maps for free because it was messing with the matchmaking and everything so much. And I feel like that would do that with the racing games too. Like tracks got to be all free. Cars, give a lot of them for free, charge for a lot of them, but like make sure that's a lot of content that comes out over time. And I honestly feel like that's probably what their plan is with this game. But we'll see. Maybe it could be like, hey, this is the start of our new thing, and then they get back to releasing a new Forza Motorsport every couple years again. That's a possibility as well. The difference here, the reason I've always thought about this, is because they're asking you to subscribe to Game Pass to play this. They don't care if you buy the game or not. So their whole thing of just trying to get people, like they got their pirate game with Sea of Thieves, they got their racing game with Forza Motorsport. I'm wondering right now when the next Forza Horizon is going to be. Right? I honestly don't know, because a lot of the team left from Playground, right? to form Maverick Games. And I'm assuming a lot of the rest of the team is now just working on Fable. So maybe they're getting away from the every few years releases for Horizon as well right now, and just going to keep supporting Horizon for a longer period of time, because the player base in that game's still strong. And now Forza Motorsport, you got Horizon, so you got your arcade racer, then you got what was going to be Halo Infinite. They screwed that up. Then now you have potentially Motorsport, but they can't do this with every franchise though. That would be bad. You know, like they gotta
start being a Ubisoft over here.
Yeah,
Forza Horizon, they can't really. I don't see them doing a 10-year plan or like games of service, just because it's specific to a location.
Well, it is a games of service now because they have.
It's not like here's. It's just gonna be. Let's say Mexico is their hub.
I mean, you can always make that a game of service. Just keep going down or up the coast.
Yeah, but other games are gonna be, like Horizon 6 could be in Tokyo, Japan, and that's the thing with Horizon that makes it so great, and that's why people like it, because it's the different.
I agree with you. I'm just wondering,
those can't really stay one location. And then
when do you think we'll see the next Horizon now? Because
it won't be
27.
I mean, I don't know how many of the team left. I know that
I think they said 10
left.
people. Yeah,
just 10
it's
people.
Just 10 people.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's not a bad. I mean, that's not that many.
No,
but I'm wondering, because of Fable, if it's going to.
Well, they're probably hands-on with that, making sure that comes out at 2024, 2025, depending on, when Horizon comes out. Horizon, if they decide to bring out 6 a little bit sooner than later, they could be on all hands for this year, and then next year start Horizon 6, and then that comes out in 2025, 2026.
Yeah, we used to be
3
like
years.
I believe they started something with the whatever the next location is going to be, because they usually have it at least in the works when the other one is released. So when 5 released, 6 had to have been at least storyboarded or at least in some sort of fashion started, even if it's just a small team. But
we know that there's still one more expansion coming too for Horizon.
Yeah.
The good thing with that though is like they could theoretically use some of the assets from Fable. Like maybe they have if it's going to be in like Japan, maybe they have like some kind of like tropical tree like in Fable that they could just throw over. So like there's some stuff that they could like save some time with there.
I'm just wondering like how many years now. I mean, because they used to do a Forza every year. It was a Forza Motorsport, Forza Horizon, Forza Motorsport, Forza Horizon, Forza Motorsport. And then even before that, it was every 2 years we got a Forza Motorsport, even before Horizon existed, right? They broke that mold, and then it was just like alternated. Now it's been since 2019 since Forza Motorsport 7 or 2018?
2017 for Motorsport,
2017?
And 2019
6 years.
or 2020 for Horizon. No, I guess it was
2020.
Horizon
2021 for Horizon 5.
2021, yeah.
Horizon 4 was 2019, and then 2021 for 5.
Yeah, so they kept on the track with 4 and 5 of Horizon, right? But we haven't gotten a Motorsport since 7, since 17.
Yeah,
so it's been 6 years.
Yeah, because they worked on the brand new Forza Tech engine.
I know that, but
will we 6 years?
Will we see the next Forza Horizon be another even crazier leap and be like that many years away? Because
my dream would be for them to remaster all of the old maps. So take 1 through 4, bring them up to
with like a
5's
Horizon
level.
collection.
Yeah, do like a collection where you can like fast travel to any of them, and then 6 would drop in like either 25 or 26, and that be the one that's like in Tokyo or something along those lines.
That'd be awesome.
I think
instead of having the Horizon Festival in like one spot, make it like a global Horizon Festival, so you can like travel to each of the other festival locations.
Yeah, do like that'd be really neat.
I think that might be the way for them to go, so that way it's not like they have to worry about every couple of years. They would have so many different regions, and with the add-ons that you can do yourself as far as the player base, making tracks and things like that, I think that pretty much takes care of itself, other than them having to do like new cars every so often type of thing, or maybe if, let's say, beach buggies are more popular now as far as for doing tricks or stunts or something like that, they can go back to adding things along those lines. Or if rest in peace to Ken Block, but like if they do more Hoonigan stuff, like have a specific either map or game mode geared specifically for that. You build your own little like gymkhana track type of layout and challenge people to either beat your time or beat your points or something like that. But
did you see a post that Forza Horizon put out that they the loss of Ken Block it felt deeply within Forza team, and they want to and the community and a lot of fans are upset with this, so they want to put together a tribute video in honor on behalf of from Forza and the community to share on not Thursday's Forza Monthly, but next month's Forza Monthly. So next month, if you're a big Ken Block or big Hoonigan, who's a Hoonigan? If you're a big Hoonigan fan, next month they'll have a tribute video of Ken Block. Really cool dude. That's they worked on the Warthog, and dude, that 1,000 horsepower Warthog that they made was fucking awesome.
Yeah, I mean they've had so many of his cars in the game, and pretty much what's his name, Don Juan Song, who's a like content creator for a lot of Forza stuff, has done like replicating some of the Gymkhana tracks or some of the tricks that he's done, or even taking it a bit further in game as far as some of the things that would be Gymkhana like. There's just so much love for the Hoonigan brand as well as for Ken Block that it would be fitting for them to do a tribute like that. And if anything, I was kind of wondering, instead of Hot Wheels, if they would have done like an expansion pack that was kind of like a Gymkhana base expansion, where it's like all the cars that they've ever used for some of their shows and stuff, and pretty much it's like a battle of who can do the most stunts or tricks or something along those lines. I'm kind of surprised they haven't given something like that a try as far as like an expansion, or maybe that might be the next expansion. So we'll see.
Yeah, they might doing respect and pay tribute to him, so they might do that. That'd be really neat and interesting.
Yeah.
Forza
Motorsport, I'm excited. I think it's gonna be amazing.
I just want to say something to Sin, because he was talking about it's concerning that they don't have the A team for Fable. Now the thing with the Fable team is they hired a lot of I think Naughty Dog and Insomniac,
a lot of people, and former Fable developers as well.
They're also contracted
Fable,
Eidos
Montreal is helping on that as well.
Eidos Montreal, and they had the ex lead of Lionhead. So there are a lot of key people that are working on Fable that are really top notch. So it's almost 2 A teams in the same studio. Yeah. So
the thing with Fable is it's just they got to learn how to make that kind of game with their engine, and that's what they're working on now. I think probably
because
working out all the kinks with that.
And I forget, they had an award-winning writer with them too. I posted a couple months ago of all the people that they hired, key hires. It's really interesting. Just look up Fable and new hires and read the people and just educate yourself to see who they hired, and you'll be really, really excited. Just knowing from that, and and this game does well, we can see them possibly branching out, making 2 studios out of this Fable team and then Horizon team. But, sorry.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's Fable's probably still a couple years away, and I would expect the next Forza Horizon probably to come after Fable releases.
Yep,
that's just my assumption. I don't know. It could be different. But we'll see what happens there. I'm excited for both games. Just don't know when play them. For what do y'all think Forza Horizon's next expansion is? Like
Monster Jam, because they got a monster truck in it.
Monster Jam? Okay, that'd be cool. I'm still calling for my Transformers spinoff. You know, they do license stuff a lot of times with Horizon things. I want a Transformers thing. I want to have the Autobots, and I want the fucking Decepticons to be flying above, shooting down at them, and you're on Cybertron, you know, like, or you're on Earth. You're on the Earth, and you're the 80s. Oh, could you imagine all the fucking 80s versions of the cars and just do a whole complete Gen 1? Yeah, dude, give me that.
I think real talk though, they're probably doing some like realistic island or some shit. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, like
kind of like how they did for
Storm Island
it's
or whatever.
Probably going to be a location, but I have no idea on what
Dallas.
Type of location.
Let's go Dallas.
They're gonna do Tijuana. It's gonna be like a drug smuggling runaway type
cartel racing.
Well, they had the Fast and Furious Horizon spinoff, so
yeah.
It just depends, man. You know, it's crazy. You know, we didn't think, no one thought that they would redo Hot Wheels, because rumors were Micro Machines, and I'm like, Micro Machines would have been okay. It wouldn't have been as cool as Hot Wheels. I mean,
yeah, I just didn't think they were going to do Hot Wheels again, because there was literally a Hot Wheels game that had just come out.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, that's why no one thought Hot Wheels, and they all were like, "Oh yeah, it's Micro Machines," and here we are, and it's fucking Hot Wheels. And so anything's possible, whatever this DLC is. If it's a realistic location,
I think they would be smart to do Baja California, like the peninsula just off Mexico that's part of Mexico, like do that, because there's that big Baja race down there every year. So
yeah,
there's already like a lot of Baja racing in Horizon though.
Do like a pro-am type.
Maybe.
Who knows? We don't know. Cool. Maybe we'll find out.
Maybe
I think we'll find something out. Hopefully either Wednesday or before this month is up. I would have to believe they're going to announce something here soon, or within the next week or two.
Maybe they'll just hint about that at the event on Thursday. That and watch next month, because we'll also have more information about what's coming later this year for Forza Horizon 5.
I think if they do Horizon stuff, they're going to do it at that hour event the next day or whatever. I think.
Probably.
Yeah.
Because the monthly. They might do it next month too. It wasn't rumored that the DLC comes out February 28th was the rumored. Was that
I have no idea.
February 8th.
I'm not sure on the date, but it's
maybe February 8th.
I knew it was supposed to come out some point this year as opposed to last year. Like normally it would have, like if they had stuck to their normal cadence, we would have probably had this DLC around this time last year, and then the Hot Wheels would have came out like later in the summer. But there was like a long process. Like normally it's only about 3 to 4 months between the first DLC and then like another 3 or 4 months before the second. This time it was like almost a year between the DLC. So we'll see if they drop it early this year.
We were thinking that this showcase in 2 days was coming sooner, because on January 10th they were supposed to say something with Forza, and we didn't hear anything, so maybe they held back for the actual showcase, because they're going to be there was the DLC news. That's why people were speculating that the showcase was going to be January 10th, because of they were going to drop the new DLC for Horizon. So that could be possibly what we're probably going to get, either Wednesday or Thursday, maybe Thursday, if anything.
Yeah, we'll see.
We're touching a little bit about games of service games and stuff like that, and we kind of talked about 343 a little bit since the last show. It did come out that 343 saying they are staying on Halo, right? But they are still have just moved to multiplayer, right? They're not working on campaign stuff, which for me that's still not good. I was excited for campaign content to come out.
Me too.
some people were saying, well, it's never planned. Well, it turns out, it was, because going back to original interviews with Chris Lee on IGN, that I want to actually read that here, because the reason this came up is I was watching an X and C podcast with Colt and Gaz just before our show, and I think it was Special Nick who had super chatted on there and said, like, they never said that Halo Infinite was a 10-year plan. They said that the Slip Space Engine was the start of the next 10 years of Halo or whatever. So I was like, really? Because everybody was sure about this Halo Infinite 10-year plan. So I went and did some digging, and I found the original interview where this came out of. And so I wanted to kind of touch on that, because it is a little bit sad to see what was potentially going to come to an end, right? And I think that while 343 is still going to make Halo games, they have definitely changed their course of direction here with what they had originally planned. In an interview with IGN, they said IGN spoke with Halo Infinite studio head Chris Lee. This was back in 2020, right? Ahead of the long-awaited gameplay reveal of Halo Infinite. Y'all remember the long-awaited gameplay reveal of Halo Infinite that caused the game to get delayed? This was right before that. Okay. Since then, right shortly after that gameplay reveal, what a bad few weeks for Chris Lee. He had this interview, everything was exciting. The gameplay showcase comes up. Then a couple months later, he's fired. That was crazy. But he said, Halo Infinite is the start of our platform for the future. We want Infinite to grow over time versus going to those numbered titles and having all that segmentation that we had before. It's really about creating Halo Infinite as the start of the next 10 years for Halo, and then building that as we go with our fans and community. Now,
he was also the one that was like putting the idea out there that they wanted a whole fucking ring to play on.
Right. So IGN added it. Well, it doesn't mean that Halo Infinite is a live service game a la Destiny, which turned out that it kind of was. It does mean that new story experiences will be told underneath Infinite's umbrella. And it also means Infinite will be evolved technologically for quite a while.
But those new story experiences, they kind of transition that into multiplayer story experiences, which no one gives a shit about.
But they haven't even followed up through on that yet, really.
Those are not even...
I know, but they claim it is because that's an extra checkbox they can put on their little, like, 3-month window until...
Well, when will we see the next big Halo thing? I think 6 years,
generation.
5 years, 6 years.
I think now shifting to single multiplayer, and everyone making putting out content for that, because that's the one thing that it hurt them. If they had regular content coming out with multiplayer, then the real only gripe would have been like, wow, these prices are fucking too high. What the fuck? And they could have worked on that, but then made seasons only
I honestly
12,
don't
13
know
weeks
if content would help. Because like Halo 5 had so much content like monthly and stuff, and no one played Halo 5 either.
Because that was nothing that played like, they didn't play like Halo. That was the thing. This played like Halo. That was,
but
like
a lot of people loved Halo multiplayer, like Halo 5 multiplayer. So it's like, I don't know. Like, I think Halo is just
competitive. That was too competitive, and the sweaties loved it. I'm not a sweaty. I didn't love it. I like Halo Infinite's multiplayer. It just needed content. It just needed a 3-month seasons instead of 6 months. The 2 6-month seasons are fucking is what really hurt. And then we have it went from 6 months to, I think right now it's
8 months or whatever.
4 weeks of this little 30 tier pass they just did for this winter thing before the true 13-week seasons that are going to come out regularly with regular content, so they say. So that if they can keep cadence with that, I think a lot of people will, as long as they fix some of the minor little things that they need to tweak like, mechanically. But other than that, I think a lot of people would come back with good content, and if the pricing is good, because I like the leveling up beta that they just had. It felt pretty good. A lot of the things that I was doing in game helped level up my the progression and the tier. So I think with adding that and regular content, slowly we'll get people back. Well, they might not get you back, but they'll get others back.
I'm always going to play Halo. Like,
so
I'm
where we go.
Yeah, but they're not. The audience for Halo has changed so much now that I just don't think Halo's ever going to be where it used to be. And
no, it would never be what it used to be, because
like we were talking about this with Forge. Everyone was like, "Oh, Forge is going to bring back so many people." It made like a 2,000 player population boost for a couple months, and then it's back down to here. So it's like whatever they add isn't going to change the player population because it's already too late. The only thing that they can do is pray that this battle royale is the fucking next best thing to get people in. And if they launch a battle royale, I don't know if they're doing that. And the battle royale has to come out, and they have to be consistent with the battle royale. Even then, I don't know if that's going to save Halo Infinite. Like, I think Halo Infinite's done. They need to just work on the next game. And
I don't know. I don't think they will be working on the next game right now, because I think what they're going to do.
Well, they laid off a lot of people that would have worked on the next game.
Exactly.
But they're betting. They're betting on the BR to do well, and it's.
I think they're going to, after they get the content for the for the multiplayer, they then start working on the story side of Halo, and then start working on that and releasing that. I would say you'll probably see the next DLC in like 2 years, probably, before we see.
I think Halo, it's just had such a rough decade. After Halo 4, like Halo 4 was the last time Halo was big, and Halo 4 when it came out was still a miss for a lot of people. And then when we got Halo Master Chief Collection, it was broken for 4 years. Everyone wanted to play that game, but it was broken for so long they couldn't do it. Then we got Halo 5, and it was terrible. The story was balls, and people like enjoyed the multiplayer, but it just no one stuck with it anyway because Halo was still dwindling. And we're at a point now where Halo has dwindled so much that it's a lost cause.
We looked at the multiplayer numbers for all these different first-person shooter franchises out there and the player counts the other day on DMs, and it became more and more glaring how bad it is for Halo. When pretty much every known name first-person shooter that's like out there is just killing it in numbers wise, and
it's time for a reboot. Like like a Sad Dad reboot with no jump.
It's a sad thing to say because I love Halo so much. Like a Sad Dad. Maybe as much as it pains for me to say, right? Like, because I want more Halo sooner than later, right? As much as it pains for me to say, maybe it's time to take a long break, focus on all these other franchises, build them up, and then bring it back in a big way from either 343, the new vision there that they have eventually maybe gets worked out, or some other team that comes up and have a fresh take on it way off, right? Maybe it's best to abandon the attempts within Infinite of story content anyway. I don't like it because it's not what we were told, right? It's not what we were promised. It's not what we were sold on. I was super excited, but I just don't have faith in 343, and I have less faith now because they don't even have any campaign people there, right? So who's going to make the campaign stuff? Like, Silver Lining. Let me finish real quick. So, Silver Lining. If they could take this time off, right, until they make one off in the years ahead, spin-offs from third-party companies, stuff like that, expand the universe, would be the best thing possible, and then bring back Chief, and that's main storyline of some sort, later on, right? I don't know when, but for me right now, I think that's the best thing to try and bring the franchise back in a big way.
And I
Right.
think we need to move away from Chief. Like, as hard as that is to hear and say, like, I think they need to wrap up Chief, but that's also going to be a problem for 343 because at the end of the day, if they get rid of Chief, 343 is going to be the developers that killed Master Chief. And
Yeah.
that's
Well, they've already heard it so bad with whatever they did. Whatever happened with the development of Infinite is that story, like Pong says in our DMs, he can't wait for that story to come out because what we've heard, this huge ambitious game for Infinite, what it was, and then we got what we got, and it was like,
I think once Joseph Staten came in, he scrapped pretty much everything.
he probably did
like,
because he's like, we can't fix all this, and that's the thing. If they had all this stuff and he scrapped it, and if it's other biomes, then that means that it's there that could be worked on and then brought back as DLC if that's the case if they did that, because at the end of when you beat the game you see you're in a different biome, so that to me says that there's probably more that is there.
Yeah, I think eventually what will happen with this is we'll get mod support like we do for Master Chief Collection. Eventually the modders will remake that content that was cut and put it in there, but it's going to be a mod content and it's not going to be official.
I don't think we'll get any DLC or nothing for cut story based content or at all for Halo Infinite.
I don't know. I think we will. I'm on the beliefs that Phil probably does not want to.
Unless maybe a third party team makes the content, right?
Well, that's the thing. Possible. We don't know what certain Infinity's doing. With we heard BR.
Yeah, certain Affinity is not a story team. They're always been a multiplayer team.
Yeah, but are they working BR? Are they working on a ODST?
They're doing the BR. They're doing the BR, and they're making
project that's not already canceled.
If it's not canceled, right?
This is what we're speculating because they did not come out and said, "Hey, we're working on the BR."
That was like from Jez, right? And
like those seen too many leaks for BR stuff for Halo.
Yeah, I mean, there's certain Affinity is supposed to be working on the BR, and they also said they're working the Halo thing they're working on is the biggest project they've ever done, right? So I believe that they're working on the BR, right? But they're also doing a standalone Monster Hunter style game as well, supposedly, like the Project Buena Suerte.
And they're working on 3 games right now.
And they're working on their own game too, separately. Yeah. Like that's like an NFT thing or something like that. So like
blockchain,
they're
NFT
working on all these different things. I just don't think they have enough resources to like do a whole lot of big story based stuff where you gotta have in all these voice actors and all this stuff and all the
but I'm just saying
it's just another animal. You know what I mean?
If they kind of were given the deleted cut stuff and say, "Hey, can you finish this?" Maybe that they could be doing that.
I would.
We don't know.
We
don't know.
There's like several teams. There was a listing of like several different studios that work on Halo stuff. Maybe one of those other ones could do it. Like they could also go back to like people that worked on Master Chief Collection stuff as well. Like was it Saber or?
Yes, I think it was Saber.
Didn't they get bought up though? Saber?
Yeah, they're with Embracer now.
Yeah, but Embracer's fine with leasing out their studios. You know what I mean? They've said that before. So yeah, you never know. I'm just saying, like, maybe it would come from 343. Like a lot of the content that's in Infinite, but not really be 343. And we'll see what's gonna happen there. I think Infinite's vision originally just got killed, but we'll still get more multiplayer updates. I have faith in the multiplayer side. They're going to get that on track. The new studio head, Pierre Heinz, is the guy that salvaged and resurrected and made Master Chief Collection into what it is. So if anybody can do that with the multiplayer of Halo Infinite, that it's him. And because he's so good there, maybe in the future, he's the guy to lead the direction for the story-based content as well.
Yeah, and we saw that with Master Chief Collection. It took him once he got in charge of that, it took him like a good 1.5 2 years for that ship eventually got turned around.
Yeah.
So once the multiplayer is at a good stage, he then went back and looked at MCC and was like, what can we do for single player sided content? And then he like redid some of the textures for the single player stuff for MCC, updated them to like what they originally were supposed to look like. He went back once the multiplayer was fixed for MCC. He went back to the single player stuff and worked on a little bit. But
it's just sad 1 year after the release of Halo Infinite, a little over a year, we already pretty much got confirmation that their plans for the 10-year thing is out the window for story-based content. You know, I mean, they didn't officially say that. I mean, you know what I mean? They could rebuild the campaign team and do something
saying.
later, but it ain't going to be within 2 years. You know, like
no. It's a slow burn with that. If they do, they got to do it slowly.
But it wouldn't be with Infinite at that point. It would be a new game. Because why would we continue supporting this piece of shit?
Yeah, it depends. Maybe they'll have the new game. You know.
But maybe Pierre will do such a good job at resurrecting Infinite by that time. Infinite's no longer a failure. It's hard to see 2 years in the future, 3 years, 4 years.
Yeah.
You know, who knows what's going to happen? But
well, it's not that hard with Halo because they ain't getting another 500,000 players.
But I do think the best thing is let it rest for a long time and then come out with some big, bold new vision for what Halo is. Moving on, I want to get into this a little bit before we get into tidbits. A little bit before tidbits. A little bit more FTC stuff happened today regarding the ABK deal. Sony and Microsoft. Microsoft actually has subpoenaed Sony for documents, information regarding their business practices, because they are the only complainant in this Activision Blizzard deal. So there was an article posted up from postpatents.com or FOSspatents.com. I saw post up on Twitter, post this out. Shout out to post up BBB on Twitter.
I also posted that in our DMs.
Yeah, right on. So FOSS Patents. This is a blog that covers software patent news and issues with a particular focus on wireless, mobile devices, smartphones, tablet computers, as well as antitrust matters surrounding those devices. So this is a blog that goes on, and basically this person just kind of comments on ongoings. But said Sony doesn't want to provide documents and or witnesses Microsoft requested in Federal Trade Commission adjudicative proceeding regarding its Activision Blizzard deal. On Wednesday, he wrote that Sony may live to regret the market definition and theory of harm it espouses. I would say it poses in connection with Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard King, and that the top 3 priorities for third-party interrogators. He uses words in a different way here. I like to use my own words. Interrogators and depositions will be Sony, and Sony. Today, it turned out that Sony, despite all of its efforts to lobby regulatory authorities over the deal, is indeed uncomfortable with its obligations as a highly relevant third party to the Federal Trade Commission's in-house adjudicative proceeding, as well as the private antitrust lawsuit in the Northern District of California that is going forward in parallel. So basically, Sony is like maybe isn't as comfortable being a big part of the proceedings with this, right? They just were trying to issue the complaints and thought they'd be able to bow out. Hey, don't do this, but we'll just stand back and watch. Now it's like they're being called upon more, and they're like, wait a second here. What do you mean you need documents? You need documents? You want us to show our business stuff? We don't gotta do that. We just gotta say we don't like it, right? That's it. On Friday, Sony Interactive Entertainment made a filing with the United States Federal Trade Commission and House Court that just became public. The filing says Microsoft served a subpoena on Sony on January 12th, which, according to Sony, did not name the proper recipient and was not properly served. So Microsoft revised it and served Sony again last Tuesday, January 16th. Sony would have had only until January 20th to file a motion to quash or limit or to otherwise respond to the subpoena. That was the date Microsoft stated in the original subpoena as well as in the revised one. Sony understands, however, that Microsoft is fine with giving Sony a 1-week extension until this week's Friday, January 27th. Therefore, Sony brought a motion for an extension of time that it described as unopposed. So basically, Sony agreed to the extension of January 27th. The fact discovery cutoff date and that adjudicative proceeding is April 7th, some of the time between now and that cutoff date may have to be spent on the resolution over this discovery dispute. So some of the time between now and the FTC's April 7th proceedings or whatever may have to be spent regarding this dispute with Sony and Microsoft over their documents or whatever. The motion notes that negotiations between Sony and Microsoft as to the scope of Sony Interactive Entertainment's production and a discovery schedule are ongoing. This tells us two things. Microsoft has apparently requested documents from Sony that the latter, the only vocal complainer over the transaction in question, isn't willing to provide without a fight. Alternatively, or additionally, there could also be disagreements over Sony executives whom Microsoft's lawyer would like to depose. As the motion, so basically Microsoft may want to depose Sony executives, which Sony wouldn't want that, right? Like, that's basically forcing them to have to be like questioned.
Transparent.
Yeah, like at the motion's notes, the purpose of the extension is for the two companies to try and work it out. If not in whole, then at least in part. Should those efforts fail to result in a complete agreement on the scope of the discovery Microsoft's lawyers can conduct of Sony's business, Sony apparently intends to file on Friday a motion to quash or limit the subpoena. So basically, if they don't come to an agreement between now and then, Sony may file for the subpoena to be quashed or limited. In that case, we'll get an idea as to what parts of Microsoft's subpoena Sony is unwilling to comply with. So what does Sony want to be hidden? We may find that out soon, right? Microsoft is the first named defendant to the FTC's in-house complaint. It is part and parcel of Microsoft's fundamental rights as a defendant to be allowed to take discovery of third parties. All the facts must be put on the table in order for administrative law judge A.D. Michael Chappell in Washington, and soon also United States District Judge Jacqueline Scott Corley in San Francisco at some point with the assistance of a jury to be able to make the right decisions. If Sony doesn't like that, it can always cut things short by accepting the 10-year Call of Duty license that Microsoft has publicly offered. Without a single vocal complainer left, competition authorities would presumably not be interested in attempting to block the deal. Sony's own business model is fair game for discovery in this context. Sony is essentially alleging that Microsoft would do with ABK's games what Sony is doing all the time with other games. Sony acquires studios to have more first-party titles and enter into exclusive agreements over third-party titles or particular features of such titles. For example, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 comes with various exclusive benefits for PlayStation gamers. In connection with Microsoft, Activision, Blizzard, Sony is just a third-party complainer and not directly exposed to any risk. But Sony finds itself on the receiving end of antitrust actions from time to time, such as the PlayStation US class action lawsuit in the UK. Some of Sony's dirty linen may get washed in public when those Activision Blizzard cases go to trial and come back to haunt Sony, which is what Sony would not want. So basically the last line in this says that given that Sony doesn't want all the facts about its own content-centric strategy to be discussed in public trials, and that there are no signs of Sony ever having reacted constructively to Microsoft's 10-year licensing offer, I strongly suspect that we will see a motion to quash or more likely limit the subpoena. The scope that motion may, however, very well be narrowed a bit by the talks that are being held these days. So it's interesting, like, what's going on right now. This is more chess, right? Basically, Microsoft saying, well, Sony, you're the one complaining about this. Let's subpoena you for the documents that expose your business to the courts, which you're complaining against, and we'll see how willing you are to discuss that stuff to the public, right? Because it's all going to be public information if Microsoft actually gets this through. Now, again, Sony could decide to say, hey, we're going to fight this and trying to get it thrown out and or limited, but that may or may not come to fruition. Being that they're the only complainant here, I would say, I don't know, it would be weird for them to not have to provide anything. I don't know. I don't know what the rules are here.
I think that they can be like, we don't want to give up the subpoena information, but the judge can still be like, you have to do that or you get like fined or whatever, I guess, for a corporation. But
right, so one or the other, or Sony and Microsoft could work out in the midterm
behind the scenes,
behind the scenes, and like Sony could be okay. We'll just accept the 10-year deal.
We'll drop the case.
Right, exactly. So this is what Microsoft's hoping for, I think, and we'll see what happens because if they because of the subpoena, if Sony actually loses the right to quash it, and the judge says no, you have to provide this stuff, Sony doesn't want that. Like no, like this is like their dirty laundry everywhere, like throwing out their dealings, their like contracts with third party publishers, the money they make on certain games, the money they make off their players and microtransactions, like all of this stuff could potentially be exposed, right? Their whole argument thrown back in their face because it is exposed to the world, finally, to the idiots that somehow aren't aware of this, that they are doing everything and have been doing everything that they're arguing Microsoft doesn't have the right to do. Yep. And it's going to be interesting to see what comes of this. I thought it was an interesting thing today. I know we talk a lot about FTC, ABK, and CMA, EC, all this stuff, but this was an interesting move that happened that I think may potentially play some form of role. I'm not an expert on this by any means, but I did find it interesting at all. Did you guys have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I just thought it was really interesting when I saw it by Stephen Tilio. What I think
Patillo.
Sorry. When I saw his post earlier, and I was like, this is really interesting that that they are that this could be something that Sony doesn't want to let out of what their dealings are. So they don't, like you said, they don't want that what they've been doing for that contractual, like that timed exclusives for 2 years for Forspoken. The same thing with like Final Fantasy VII, like that could come out if they, if they money added it. We can see, like, it just shows that everything that the FTC, CMA, and the EU have said that, so we know pretty much they're not really coming out saying that they gotta support Sony because big bad Microsoft, but it just shows it's like they don't know the gaming industry, as they're just fat cats in government. They don't know this shit. So I don't know. It's interesting. It was would like to see somebody come out and like really go in depth and see that. That was like the beauty with some of these people in the community, that they were able to come out and talk about it as well. But I don't know. Jasper was in the back telling me so much about this.
Thoughts, Jasper, Fuzz?
It's just part of the plan.
Jasper.
I was going to say it's part of the plan. They keep it moving, and eventually, it will end at some point. This is all part of Microsoft plan, just to keep it going, and eventually we'll have an end in sight where the FTC will win or lose, and just a waiting.
Probably
game.
Lose, but we'll see. Microsoft win. What do you think, Fuzz?
I'm just happy that they're constantly trying to, I guess, keep kind of like what Jasper was saying, keep this thing moving. Hopefully this will. I don't necessarily care about the backing Sony in a corner, but at least it may give them pause as far as their objection on this whole deal. Because if it means that their dirty laundry gets exposed, then they might want to rethink their strategy. So yeah, keep on doing what you're doing, Microsoft. Just keep on getting this thing closer to a finish line, and hopefully, this summer or sooner.
Yeah,
it's finished.
For sure, broski. Everybody, we're about to have some tidbits, but before we do, breaking news. Manscaped now sells beard products. That's right. They are once again revolutionizing men's grooming with the brand new Beard Hedger. From a beard trim to a fresh shave, the technology behind the Beard Hedger allows you to shape your signature beard look. Now you can finally use Manscaped products to make your drapes match your carpet by going to manscaped.com and using code FUNSPECULATION for 20% off and free shipping. It's time to tame your mane, and no one likes a weird beard. So say goodbye to all your stubble trouble with the Manscaped's Beard Hedger. Yeah, it all starts with the Beard Hedger. It's a juggernaut of fixing faces. First off, the cordless trimmer has a rotary wheel that gives you 20 haircutting lengths, all with one guard. So no more messy drawers full of extra add-ons. That's right. Face grooming doesn't need to be hard. Get 20 different beard lengths in just one guard. So get 20% off, free shipping with the code FUNSPECULATION at manscaped.com. 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use code FUNSPECULATION. Manscaped, Beard Hedger, one stroke, one guard, 20 lengths. Thanks to our awesome sponsors over at manscaped.com. Remember to use the code FUNSPECULATION, everybody, while you can. Appreciate you. And remember, you don't have to shave your nuts with your face shaver. Now you can have both. Enjoy. All right, let's get into some tidbits, everybody. It's time. And guess what? This week, I got the right video. All right, what's up, everybody? Thanks for watching Fun Speculation Podcast. And this is Tidbits, the segment where we look ahead at the games releasing this week. I shared awesome links in our DMs by the one and only Fuzzy Belvedere, and sometimes Jasper when he has a weird ass game he wants to throw in
there's
there.
Not too much interesting trash coming out, so I had to.
But yeah, we have fun with tidbits. Sometimes there's some surprises in there that catch our eye and make us get more excited for a game. Sometimes there's absolute garbage, and sometimes there's a few in between. This week is an interesting week for sure because we're going to start this week off.
This is the start of the AAA bangers coming out.
Yeah, it is. It is the start. This is a week where we get to say hello to the one and only Forspoken.
Let's do this.
$70 comes out tomorrow. Y'all excited for Forspoken?
Yeah, I'll be playing it in 15 minutes if this show's over.
Right on. 68 on Meta. Maybe it'll be good though, Jasper.
What do you think, son?
What do you think, son?
What the hell is that?
I don't know where that came from. Oh shit! Hold on.
Oh, it was an ad.
This is not in the right spot. These damn Steam ones.
Yeah. This is like a old 360 game that is being revamped for modern consoles.
It's a tower defense thing. It's so off on your screen right now.
I know. It's just a Steam link. It's different than the YouTube. Yeah, this game is Kingdom Rush.
Looks like an alright tower defense.
Yeah. I like tower defense games.
It's finally coming to Xbox.
Is it coming to Xbox?
Yeah, it's on Xbox One and Series X and S. I think it's already been on the likes of Switch and PC, but we finally get it.
Yeah, nice. I don't know if we'll be able to use these Steam links anymore. It's gonna mess up our new system. But yeah, Kingdom Rush. When does it come out on Xbox? It comes out
tonight.
Tonight on Xbox?
$10.
Nice. Okay. Hell yeah. I'm looking forward to that. And next up, everybody, Deep Silver, back at it with Risen. This is a game that I played back on the 360.
Yeah, I think it came out, what, like 2009 or something?
Yeah.
Shit?
Yeah.
And
it's finally coming to last gen consoles.
Yeah, that's so funny. That's just a weird statement. It's finally coming to last gen consoles, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch for $30. $10 on PC, $5 on 360. It still looks like ass. It was a fun game, but it never was the prettiest.
It's kind of like a shittier Skyrim.
Yeah, there was a lot of games like that back then. You had Divinity series, you had Risen, you had Two Worlds.
Finally,
I like some of those games a lot, actually. But it's finally coming out to last gen consoles.
burn them all.
How many years did they spend making an Xbox One port?
Probably about a month.
Probably. Why not release it for Series X and PS5? Maybe so they can excuse it looking like shit.
X.
Yeah, I know. I'm just like, is it not optimized to use an SSD or something? I don't understand why they wouldn't just tag that on there. You know?
I have a feeling this might be like an experiment where Deep Silver and what do you call them? The Embracer Group is looking to see if there's interest to bring a new version of this game out, kind of thing.
Right.
Like, I guess a Risen 4, because I think there was a Risen 2 and 3. So
yeah. Next up, everybody, World War Z Aftermath update.
Yeah, it's a next gen update for
next gen update
game.
for it.
Yeah. I think they increased the zombie count for next gen consoles, so there's going to be more zombies you can fight on screen now.
World War Z.
Yeah.
Yeah.
this is like
a lot.
days going on steroids.
Yeah. It's nuts.
Horde Mode Z. World War Z is a pretty fun game. I don't know why I haven't played more of it. Yeah, I actually played a little of it on PC because it came with my PC, I think.
Yeah.
Lots of zombos.
Yeah.
But so it's getting
Couple
next
of-
gen patch, so it'll be 60 frames and all the goodness.
Well, I think it was already 60,
Was
wasn't
it?
it?
I don't know. I'm
I
excited.
think they
I'll
did
give
an
it a go.
update before it was already 16, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'll give that a go sometime.
This is kind of like, what was that? Dead Rising was a 3. That was they were saying like thousands and thousands of zombies.
Thousands and thousands, yeah. Next up, everybody, we got Devolver Tumble Time.
Oh, yay!
It is a free-to-play game with ads on mobile
iOS
devices.
and Android.
On iOS and Android, yeah. And this comes out on Thursday. Now, it is Devolver, so don't judge it too early. Because Devolver makes some good shit.
I mean, it's not Marvel Snap. I don't care.
I mean,
Tumble
Jasper
time.
in the green room, Jasper's like, dude, I can't wait for this game.
To be honest, I didn't even know this game was on the list.
Don't lie, Jasper.
It's Tumble Time! It's going
I
to save
have
your
no-
marriage!
I have no idea what the premise of this game is.
I think you're supposed to like link colors or something, and then they explode. Or, I don't know. It's almost like reverse Tetris in a bubble.
Oh, so it's kind of like a, was it Dr. Mario?
A for-profit game. You gotta love Devolver's marketing.
Easy
Yeah,
Meal started as my college.
What? Who are you? Shut up. Oh shoot, sorry. Next up, everybody, we got Hitman World of Assassination. Hitman 3.
Basically, they're taking Hitman 3. If you purchase Hitman 3, they're turning it into the World of Assassination, I guess. It's more like the deluxe edition, but converted with more.
Yeah, it comes
locations.
with all the Hitman 1 and 2's locations and packed in with 3 or whatever.
Yeah. Hitman 3 is still a fantastic game that I'm absolutely horrible at. I am. I tried streaming it every time I tried streaming it, just like chaos ensues.
I think Hitman's in Game Pass still, isn't it?
Yeah,
I believe so.
This approach creates the
They have really milked Hitman over the last few years. Good on them. They deserve it. I hope that they were able to use all this money to make that James Bond game badass and Project Dragon.
Yeah.
They are everywhere, all but impossible for law enforcement to do anything about. Clients looking for justice are lining up, but with no names to the
The game they keep
time,
supporting too really well.
Work is needed, 47. Our MO is to
Now, I might be
identify
forgetful,
trusted
but
syndicate members,
was IO
take them
part
out,
of Square
and
originally?
analyze the
Like, they were the
ripple
first ones to
effect
jump ship, right?
No, they had
With
joined
anything,
Square, I
we'll be
believe,
able to track down the leaders
and
shut down the syndicates
then
one at a
weaseled their
time.
way back out.
Okay.
I'll leave you to prepare.
Basically, they
So they
sort of write 'em
managed
on
to
the
get
wall.
the
They're like, oh,
Hitman IP.
you guys look like a good publisher, and then they were like, oh crap.
Yeah, they're like, oh fuck, ooh, what is this fucking?
Yeah, they kind
company?
of pulled a Bungie with them a little bit, except they didn't get to keep Bungie didn't get to keep Halo, right?
Bethesda
Well,
they-
Xbox's
Bungie did that with
biggest and most
Activision.
ambitious game
Yeah.
is the
Shout out to
sci-fi
Colt
RPG
Eastwood. Sorry,
Starfield.
man, these videos just keep automatically playing. Shout out to Colt Eastwood and his great video.
Because Bungie joined Activision and then left, and it was like, we're keeping Destiny though, and then they went back to, and then they went to Sony. So
Let's see how long that lasts.
yeah, third time's a charm.
Oh, my bad. Next up
You watching
is
Starfield?
I have
No.
a feeling there'll be an Amazon or Apple attempt at some point.
this is Dead Space remake. Woo! That's this week. I know a lot of you are excited. I'm not really too much, but it's PS5, Series XS, PC, Friday the 27th for $70.
One thing interesting is they added a new alternate ending to this game. So
Y'all really pumped for this?
no,
No?
This is probably the one I'm most excited for on this list.
Right on.
Transformation.
I've played Dead Space before. I don't know. It's just like I'm not paying $70 for a remake.
But it's rebuilt from the ground up, Jasper.
I'm not paying $70 for a remake.
But if you're subscribed to Game Pass Ultimate, you have EA Play, which will get you the discount to $62.
$62.99.
That's what a normal game costs with tax, so I'm still not paying more for it.
You still got to pay tax on the $62.99.
Yeah, I know.
Truly divine.
Razor says already downloaded it. It's gonna be a big release this week.
Yeah.
Review predictions.
But we don't have much time.
I think it'll do better than Callisto.
88.
88. I was thinking it'd be high as well. I was thinking like 89, 90. Remember they review all the people that reviewed The Last of Us Part 2 remaster, like gave it 10s and shit. But and it was like, we gave it this because it's The Last of Us, even though it didn't really do anything new or weren't existing. It's The Last of Us, so it gets a 10 automatically. Now this is probably way more put into this to bring this back because it's way older of a title, right? So they obviously had to put a lot more work into this to bring it up to standards. But I'm wondering what it'll get. I hope it does well. Callisto didn't do well sales wise compared to their insane expectations with their insane budget for that game. New studio, new IP. I don't know what they're thinking, but this I think has a chance to live up to the
I
expectations.
think I'm just gonna wait for it to come to EA Play.
Yeah,
in like a year.
Same. That's exactly what I'm gonna do. Unless it goes on sale for dirt cheap at some point, I may get it. If it's like $20, $15, something. Which it could before it goes to EA Play. Most anticipated for Fuzzy. What about you, Psycho? You gonna play it? Gonna give it
Most
a go?
anticipated on this list was Dead Space. Forspoken is going to have to wait for a deep sale, or at least probably like when it hits the $30 price point. But I think I'm gonna do the discount, the $63 deal for Dead Space. I think.
Right on.
Yeah, Dead Space looks really good, and something if I'm able to get it, I definitely want to play it. It looks just looks really good, and hopefully it what's the word, shows off well. It's not really what I'm trying to get at, but it, because it's a better light than what Callisto Protocol was. Yeah, and then this way, this game, because it's a full remake, so if it looks gorgeous and it plays better than the original Dead Space, and it's like it's open world. I think it's open. It's open platform, open world, pretty much to what on the base. You can go anywhere at any point, I believe, from what they said.
I think it just means you don't have to like go to a door and wait like 5 minutes in an elevator. I think it's going to be a little like faster. It's going to seem like more seamless. You don't have to have those loading screen
load
jumps.
times. Exactly. So it's kind of open, so you can go. Because you can't bust out the side of the spaceship and go a different level of the game, because that's not how all the game plays out. But there's none of that loading time and waiting bullshit like the first one. And you can't, like before, like if a monster comes, you just go through a doorway and it won't come after you anymore because it loaded out of that, so you're safe. That don't happen no more. You got to face that freaking whatever that alien that's trying to fucking rip your face off. You gotta hit.
Yeah, I think this will just do better anyway, just because Dead Space has a fan base already there, built in. It's gonna build up the hype for it. A lot of people talking about it and excited for it. So we'll see how it does. I was never really into Dead Space to begin with, but I do recognize it's a great franchise, all that kind of stuff. So I'm excited for everybody that's getting to play this game. And that's it for tidbits, everybody. So that was a pretty good week. Forspoken, Dead Space are the two bigger games. Got a couple of other interesting things in here. Oddly enough, the one I'm most excited about is Kingdom Rush. That I did not know that was coming to Xbox. It's a tower defense. I love tower defense games. Defense Grid, played the shit out of that on 360. Fantastic game. Xbox One as well. Check out Defense Grid if y'all haven't. I also used to play tons of tower defense games on my phone back in the day. So, but that's been it for the show as well. If you guys like what we do here on the channel, make sure to hit the like button, share out our stuff, subscribe to the channel, like it. I said that already, I think. I don't know. And all that stuff. You guys know what to do. Appreciate each and every single one of you for being here. Don't forget 20% off and free shipping with manscaped.com. Code FUNSPECULATION for get your beard shavers on. And guys, I want to let everybody know where they can find you. Fuzzy, what you got going on for the week?
Well, just thank you for having me on. It's always fun being on here with you guys and going over the latest news on everything gaming. For those that want to hear my rambles on gaming stuff, just follow me on Twitter or any social media at fuzzy_Belvedere. Look forward to being up here with you guys on Xbox Ultimate on Friday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on this channel. And then look forward to being here again on Monday for FSP with you guys at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time next Monday. Look forward to it.
You going to be able to join us on Wednesday, Fuzz?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. Although I might have to mute myself during the Forza stream so I don't scream or cry or yell or whatever. So
that's fair enough. What about you, Flacco? What do you got going on?
I got fucking nothing except for Wednesday, doing that live stream with you. So
nice.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have like the whole family there. For the most part. I mean,
yeah, we're gonna have the extended family as well.
Yeah, Steele's joining us.
It's gonna be a great fucking time. So everybody, come out Wednesday, at fucking 2:00 in the afternoon, right? That's when we're doing.
The show's 3, but Mav's going live early.
Yeah, we're going maybe like 2:20 Eastern or so.
Why you gotta fight me, Jasper?
It's somewhere time between 2 and 2:30 Eastern, I think. It just depends when I can get everything set up, and we'll have some fun discussion before the show.
Cool. But chat, thanks for coming out. It's great to be back on a regular mic and in front of my computer instead of on my cell phone and my fucking 1980 Nokia classic phone. So yeah, it's great. Mondays here, 10 o'clock. Find me and on social media, Psychonauts, and Friday, of course, Xbox Ultimate, where it's a great fucking time. And don't forget Thursdays. Check out Mav and Pong, because those guys are fucking. They knock it out of the park every fucking Thursday.
Thanks, brother.
Yeah, man. I show up every Thursday. I don't give a fuck. I don't listen to other podcasts, just yours.
Right on. Fun speculation exclusive Psychonauts.
Oh yeah.
Jasper, what you got going on?
Yo, check it out. Lord Jasper on Twitter, Lord Master Jasper on YouTube. As always, Monday night, FSP, 10 o'clock, right here. The show you just watched. Watch it again next Monday night. And then Wednesday is, like everyone else said, we're going to do the Xbox Developer Direct show. Got that out. Did not mess up once there. And then we're going.
You didn't see that.
We're going Friday night Xbox Ultimate, 10 o'clock. Right here on this channel. Also, you've seen that show before, probably. Watch it again next week. That's where I'm at.
I love your new outro there, Jasper. It's awesome. Everybody, yeah, like these guys said, Wednesday. This is probably the last time you'll see us live, unless I might do a game stream tomorrow night. Who knows? I don't plan a lot of times for the game streams and stuff, but Wednesday we will all be here. Steele's joining us. Pong will be here. He's working from home that day, so that way he can join us. Fuzzy's gonna be here. Kate's gonna at least have an appearance if she may have to leave to go pick up our daughter from school. Psycho is gonna be here, coming from your mom's house, straight from your mom's house to watch the Developer Direct. Jasper's gonna be here. Yeah, we're gonna have a blast. And hopefully we get to see lots of cool details about Redfall, some great gameplay. They said they're going to show single player and multiplayer stuff there.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to see Forza Motorsport. We're going to finally get to see when this game's probably going to come out, plus what it is, if our live service expectations are a thing or not. Maybe they won't talk about that during the Developer Direct, but afterwards on the next day at the other show. And then maybe we'll see some Minecraft Legends, find out exactly what that game is, and then some ESO. So looking forward to it. Will there be any surprises? I don't know. Probably not big ones if there is, but still looking forward to this showcase and what they got going on there. So tune in Wednesday, 2:30-ish Eastern time. Peace out, everybody. See you then.
Me.
Bye, everybody.